7 emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Good, Damo! Lock it in. 30 seconds. Lock it in. Berging. 30 seconds. Red time. Everyone should have one. Burrows.
Welcome back to EFNL Game Day here at the Batterham Reserve for the Basin and Ringwood Math Footy here with Wayne Brasher and Ryan Long. Bit of false advertising before the break, Brash. I said Justin Stanton. We are going to have Stance on. It's his birthday too today. He's probably having a slice of cake. But we've got Ringwood coach Brett Rowe. Brett, thanks for joining us once again, mate. And you'd be eager as anyone to get back out there after what feels like a 2-year pre-season.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Again. Thanks for having me again, guys. Absolutely. I mean, it's been really frustrating the last couple of years. Especially last year, like when there was a season going and then it stopped again. So, absolutely, and the boys are keen, and it was a bit of a struggle early, to be honest, with some of the boys, which is understandable, I guess, with what the boys we've all been through. So, it's worked out quite well. But yeah, absolutely, really excited.
Brett, a question I'm going to ask probably. We've had basically only 8 games in 2 years of football. We've had player movement. You're a coach, and you want to redefine the game plan. Is this the perfect opportunity to redefine a new game plan to suit a new collection of players?
Oh, look, I think you always tweak it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we just stick to what's been really good for us over the last couple of years prior to the lockdowns. But yeah, we just throw little, add different facets to it every part we did training or every part during the year so far. We've just tried to add a different layer to, which I think most coaches have. Yeah. Because you obviously don't want to be known for the same thing. No. But in saying that, also it's if it's worked for you before and it helps the playing group know what's in front of them, so therefore it's pretty predictable, and that's pretty important to your team and how it operates. But yeah, no doubt we've definitely added some layers to it. But and like today might change things a little bit more because we've had 2 practice games where it was 30 plus, and now we're pissing with rain here in Basin.
Exactly.
And you've got a couple of debutants today, Opp and Latchford. What can we expect from those boys?
Yeah, and Mitch Heckley as well from North Ringwood. Yeah, look, Mitch is a small forward that we got from North Ringwood. Look, he's got good, genuine speed around the ball, which is which we're really big on, and he brings obviously that pressure that we're always trying to achieve as a group. We've got young Jet Latchford, who's come in from the under-19s. He's a ruckman, so he was probably didn't look like he was going to be playing senior footy, but we thought, well, let's just have a look at him over the practice match period, and he's really shown something. So we're like, let's give him a crack. And Oppie's he's been at the club for a while. Just had a really solid pre-season. He'll play across half-back, left footer, and he's just gives us that again, just that ability, good user of the footy off half-back, which is where you want your good users these days. So, looking forward to all 3 of them playing, and obviously
Sammy Wadley,
obviously he's already played senior footy for Ringwood when he was in the 19s back a while ago. So, and he's been unbelievable so far. Like his running capacity is it's just hard. He just runs from one end to the other. He's hard at the footy, and he's got probably one of the best sidesteps I've seen. Like he can change direction at a split second. And he throws everyone out. So those 4 guys put on the jumper today.
In terms of your transfer, obviously Brash alluded to it a little bit in terms of you're going to have to change your game plan slightly, but we'll address the elephants in the room. You already mentioned Sam Wadley there. Was he on the cards for a while? Has that been something that you'd sort of been chipping away at, obviously playing at Vermont? And then on the flip side, the Farmer boys, from all reports, were winding down anyway. So whilst it's a loss to have them not playing anymore, it wasn't a surprise to an extent?
To Sam, look, I'll go to speak about Sam first. Sam was, we've always chipped away at him, to be honest. He's got really good mates here. And then he works with Kieran Burgess, who's my assistant coach. And Kieran said to me, he goes, this might be the year to get Sam. He's told Verma he's not going to play. So we just did the work, and thankfully he chose to
So he might have been the fella I saw you walking laps with at Ringwood. With the that was a different one. Okay.
I think the thing with Sam, he not only is he adds a bit of, not only does he add a bit of grunt, but he's got a little bit of mongrel in him.
My word, he has. Yeah, he's really hard at it.
Yeah, so I mean, sometimes you need the odd enforcer type in your side because that's what he's like. He's better when he's playing on the edge, Sam Wadley.
Yeah, I know that he does. He just hits bodies hard.
Yeah,
and fairly, and he goes absolutely, and that's, as you said, that hard edge is really important. To go back to the Farmer boys, Mitch, who now lives down the coast, down the peninsula, down the Bellarine. So he was probably much told me he probably wasn't going to play, so I didn't really have him in my plans anyway.
Exactly.
Trent was more of a surprise. But, people change clubs, and that's okay. I mean, it happens.
And the pleasing thing is at least you won't have to come up against them.
No, that's right.
This year.
No, this year. That's right. Hopefully next year. But, Trent was probably going to be his last year anyway with us, when he was going to play with us. So he's got a young family now. So it's just come a year early more than anything. So we were kind of ready, but it's just come a year early.
And you've probably been the standout side over the last maybe 3 or 4 years in the division, and with all these interruptions like last year, that's another chance that you don't even get a shot at looking at it in the finals. How do you keep the boys just motivated and keep their eyes focused in the game, focused each week, and have that at the end of the season?
Look, I think your first point was probably the reason, because we've been one of the better teams over the last few years, so they know that carrot's still there. Like, it's not like we're on the decline or anything as a team. Like, we're still thereabout. We still think we're going to be thereabout. So I think that's what keeps the guys motivated, and that's always that helps. Like, I can imagine if you're at a team that at any grade or any competition, that if things were just not working, then it would be hard to stay motivated. So thankfully, our guys have stayed really committed. They've reconnected with each other, and that's what's been really pleasing. As I said, it's just the ability to, the fact that we're still there in that top end, which we don't shy away from. We know we are one of the better teams. We just got to, that keeps us all driven as a group.
Well, Rowie, thanks for coming on pre-game, mate. We got a tight schedule now because we've got Juzzy just hanging over the edge as well. It's a bit awkward over here under the marquees. Exactly. Thank you very much, mate, for joining us, and good luck for not only today but for the remainder of the year as well.
Thanks, gents.
Brett Rowe there, the coach of the Ringwood Redbacks, looking forward to a big game here against the Basin as they shake hands already. It's all happening in here, Brash. Boxes touching gloves as we're joined by, correct me if I'm wrong here, Justin, but the birthday boy.
Yes. Yeah.
Justin Stanton, happy birthday, mate. And is this when you woke up this morning, you thought, this is exactly what I want on my birthday? Pissing rain out at Batterham. Perfect.
I went to bed last night and I thought I'll take 20 degrees fine and sunny like the last 2 weekends have been. We've had guys putting sunscreen on for practice matches, and then, we have this. But anyway, it is what it is, unfortunately. But, looking forward to getting the season off.
It was at this ground last year where you came back against Ringwood in that last quarter. Were you able to take much from that game that you can bring into today on how you were able to break them down in that last patch of footy?
Yeah, I think we can take a couple of things. We can take, I guess, a little bit of the same old. When we play Ringwood here, we fell into our old habits, and hence we were down by 3 or 4 goals at three-quarter time. So it was a little bit of take the shackles off of that going into that last quarter, in that, okay, we can either just accept another loss to Ringwood, or we can take the game on, do a couple of things slightly different, lower our eyes rather than bombing the footy in there. And if you get 1 or 2 goals with the big crowd, things can evolve pretty quickly. So it was a pleasing result. But obviously, we weren't able to then capitalise with the momentum because of the season. But I reminded the guys just before with our team meeting, since I've been here in 2018, we've beaten Ringwood once. We drew with them, and we've beaten them once. We've had some narrow losses to them a number of times, but they've also belted us. So it's one of these, we're a club that they've owned for a number of years. Yeah,
and that's a perception that you as a club want to change as well.
Yep.
Because you don't want to beat a club that, that belongs to other, on game day all the time. I just happened to work with Dave-O before. He's just had a bit of a hamstring twinge. He's obviously not going to play for a couple of rounds, or...
No, correct.
So more precautionary?
Oh, no, look, he's never done a soft tissue, but Tuesday night he felt it grab a couple of times and thought, this is no good. So we got him to the physio on the Wednesday. He said it's minor. It'll be a couple of weeks. So Davo's pushing to get back next week. I've already sort of knocked that on the head and said you'll come back after the Easter break, because we've got to be mindful that with what we've gone through the last 18 months, 2 years. I think if you're an unlucky enough sort of a player who's getting multiple injuries during a year, that is just going to be overwhelming, along with all the other things that the guys have had to deal with away from football. So
yeah, look, I just asked Brett the same question. With only 8 games in the last two years, I said, does it give a coach an opportunity to, obviously with player movement in and out, just a chance to revamp the game, the game plan? Make a few tweaks here and there, or do you make wholesale changes and try something new? Would this be the best time for a coach to try it?
Oh, look, we weighed up whether we needed to explore changing things slightly.
Yeah.
What we ended up doing though was we just used it as a time to let these young guys be another 12 months. 18 months older, because I blooded so many in my first year in 218.
Yeah.
I gave so many 17-year-olds an opportunity that now they're 20, 21. They had an opportunity to get their bodies stronger. So it's actually, as frustrating as it's been, they weren't ready in the last 18 months, 2 years. So now I think they're starting to become consistent senior footballers, and they've got bodies that can withstand the vigours of senior football.
However, I think we did see signs in that Baronia game that we covered, where there was that decided edge, hardened edge on some of those younger guys coming through, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely, there was for the Basin. But one thing I want to talk about is obviously we've spoken numerous times, Justin, about the age demographic of your side. The core is quite young, which is good for the future. It's not going to be a flash in the pan, but you have recruited over a half a dozen players, with four of them coming from Garfield. We've got Matt Rennie and Jaden Guzmas straight into the side. Obviously, Michael Wallace is playing in the Premier Cricket Final at the moment. He's nicked off for 14, so he's wasted his time.
Okay,
and Corey Infeen. Obviously, you've got connections out at Garfield, so that's where the whispers came across. But what can we expect from those 4 guys? And then obviously Mitchell Nahn, Thomas G and Tristan Borg.
Yeah, well, certainly the 4 Garfield guys. I had a lead in there in that my brother Hayden coached them. So I knew halfway through the year he was going to step down. And I knew those 4 boys personally and socially. So I took it as an opportunity to try and get them to come across. What are they? They're 20. The other 3 are 27. So we don't have too many.
Probably what you need, isn't it?
100%. And it was a bit opportunistic for me, I guess. I took an opportunity knowing that I was, I guess, ahead of the curve as far as other clubs trying to target those guys. And was lucky enough.
So it wasn't for a specific position; it was more the age demographic.
It was the age demographic, and then what you get from that is Wallace is a key defender, Rennie's a key forward, Intervene is a ruck forward, and Gurmis is a premiership midfielder. Yeah, so
pretty handy,
experienced, and still only 27. So
absolutely,
that's been pleasing. Because realistically. And the Baronia game's a good example. We were terrific that day, but we didn't play too many other games last year in that way. And I think partly is because the Baronia ground suits us. This doesn't suit us all out here, unfortunately, because we're a young, fast team and we're playing on something the size of a backyard. So Baronia was, the guys get excited about that because it's wide and long. I guess the contradictory part to that is when we went to Ringwood earlier in the year on a big ground where we should have embraced it, they touched us up. They were way too good for us there.
Well, in essence, with those 4 players, like you said, they're around that 26, 27. In playing parlance, they're really only 24, 25.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a moment.
Considering we've lost 2 seasons of football and their bodies haven't been ravaged by injury.
Yeah, correct. They're a welcome addition. But in saying that, we've also lost some players.
Yeah.
At this stage, our co-captain Trevor Mills, he's unsure whether he'll play. He's just become a father. He thinks that the world stops when you become a dad. I've tried explaining that footy's even more important, but that's a tussle that we're having. One of the Roberts boys is playing in the 2s today, who's a key defender for us. That's Jordan today, but the other one, Kieran, who played all last year. At this stage, he's just got married, so he's uncertain whether he'll play. So we've lost those 2. We lost the league best and fairest winner from the reserves, Jack Walton, who's gone back to soccer where he's like a semi-professional.
Okay.
We've lost a boy, Brandon Mills, to Montrose. So we've lost 4 or 5. So it was important. I was greedy. I was thinking at the end of last year, let's lose no one, bring in 5 or 6, and everything could be great. But realistically, that just doesn't happen.
No.
Yeah, and you talked about the positives with your younger group, and we've looked at a few other sides, a lot of the older players who, because of all these interruptions, they've either retired or just given up footy because they haven't played that much. Is that sort of the benefit now that your core young group of players, they're all young, they're all keen to keep going?
Yeah, 100%. Who we lost? We lost John O'Morris, Dale Morris's brother, during this whole COVID thing because he was the other side of 30 and he was a tradie and he just thought, I'll just go back on the tools. Other than and Aaron Finlay, or Fingers, as he 33-year-old tradie. Yep. His best footy had passed him by, so he took that as an opportunity to step away. But all the rest of these young guys, all they did for us, which has helped us, is they just worked when they could, stayed at home. They were in the gym because one thing I love about young guys of today is they're as vain as young women of today.
Vainer. I would make a strong argument to say vainer.
Yeah, correct. Because I tell them stories, and the stories I tell them, they think I must be an old man. Because I talk about you play a senior game and you'd have 2 beers while you're taking your strapping off, and then you take 3 beers into the shower with you, and by the time you got the social rooms, you'd already had 5 or 6 beers. These guys would be thinking, well, that's no good because that's no good for carbs. That's no good, exactly. So they're very vain on that. So that's helped. Yeah, it's got them stronger. They've stayed connected. They've done some gym sessions with one another. So it hasn't hurt us at all, which has been good.
The Basin as a whole, just quickly before we sign off for that second break, Juzzy, the Basin as a whole as a club, what makes it so contagious? Because in the space of 5 to 6 years, you've gone from a club that was sort of mid-table in the third tier to now, obviously the senior side had such a good year last year, but you've got the full allotment of sides. I don't think anyone else has got as many senior footballers as the Basin.
A good question, and it's something that I don't think other people within the Eastern Footy League appreciate. Like, we've got 2 under-19 teams, we've got 2 senior women's, we've got a reserves as seniors and 18 junior sides.
And 5 netball teams.
Correct. We've got people coming, which I scratch my head, having come from Beaky, where I previously coached, where it's a growth corridor. So you can explain why Berwick and Beaky and the lot have got big numbers. Out here, there's no new estates, there's no growth and development. But Alex Winters, who's been the pres for a number of years, himself and his committee have worked tirelessly to turn the bad reputation of the Basin 20 years ago around, and now it's a sexy word, but it's a destination club.
It is.
I don't know why, but because as you see, the facilities are horrendous compared to everyone else's, but yet we're arguably the biggest club in the Eastern Footy League.
Well, absolutely, Justin. Anyway, mate, happy birthday. Good luck today, and
thanks,
hopefully
guys.
we'll see you later in the year.
No worries, thanks.
We're going to go to a break here on EFNL Game Day, and on the other side of it, we'll jump into the nitty-gritty of this one as the Basin take on Ringwood.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. Let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob Armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website. yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Sprained your ankle bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, "Why yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy." And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair.
Yeah, that's great.
Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back to Batterham Reserve here on the SEN app as we welcome in the Basin and Ringwood for the EFNL match of the round. First one of 2022. Matthew Ferry here with Wayne Brash and Ryan Long. We've spoken to Justin Stanton and Brett Rowe, so if you are on the stream online, you can drag that back on Facebook and YouTube and listen to those two talk ahead of this big clash. Gents, let's get into the nitty-gritty though now. We've sort of spoken about what we're excited about. We've spoken to both coaches. This game is a pretty interesting one. It would have been probably more interesting in a final series last year. This year there's obviously been a bit of change with Ringwood. We expect them to maybe drift back to the pack a tiny little bit. And then the Basin, from the sounds of it, may just sort of hold their position with their list turnover. But as Ryan alluded to, talking to both coaches, the Basin and Ringwood have had some tight contests over the years. And last year the Basin conceded 70-plus points twice, both times against Ringwood, Ryan. So obviously Ringwood have got something over the Basin to an extent.
Well, I think that's what their big positive last year, the Basin, was their defence. It held up really strong. I think most games sides are only kicking 5 or 6 goals against them. So with Ringwood, the way that the weapons that they have up forward, they were always able to break through with that. And I think that comes off their midfield. They've got a lot of strength in the midfield, and they're able to get plenty of repeat inside 50 entries inside 50s. And even without a Farmer in the middle there, you bring in Wadley if he has a run in the middle, they're still going to be able to get the ball down to their forward 50 to have enough options at goal. And I think in a weather like this, you're just going to need to be able to convert them when you can.
So a new member of the EFNL Media Team writing staff, Connor Schmidtke, wrote something last night. He's been looking at the vision. He likes to analyse the footy, and it's called Behind the Goals. So get used to that every Friday evening. That'll be out there. He looked at both the Basin and Ringwood games last year, Brash, and the key difference was the quality of looks inside 50. That was the difference between the two sides. But the difference between the Basin's loss to Ringwood and the Basin's win against Ringwood was in the first game, and even Justin alluded to it. As soon as there was any sort of pressure, the Basin players panicked and just kicked it long down the line, whereas the second game they managed to maintain a bit of composure and were able to actually hold their shape and find options with either using the width or the corridor. Is that something you think with today's weather might go out the window?
Well, yeah, it could, mainly because round one games typically you seem to see
nervous energy as well.
Yeah, one side jumps out to an early lead, and then the other side spends the rest of the game, catching up. Matt, that seems to be the trend. You try and get a lead. I think one thing that with Ringwood, I know they're no longer farmer centric, but I actually think it's going to be an advantage for them this year.
Definitely today, they're going to have a small forward line on a wet day.
And the fact that, Wadley is a goal kicker as well, and he adds another dimension. I think you'll find that a lot of the goals for Ringwood this year are going to be shared through the midfield and the half forwards.
I think it'll be a lot running back towards goal. It won't be someone coming at them. In terms of that and their defence, both sides are very strong defensively. So Ringwood kept teams to 6 goals or less 7 times in 2021. They only played 10 games.
Yeah, pretty impressive.
But they kicked more goals than behind just once. So they need to be a bit more efficient, especially on a day where it's going to be probably a low-scoring affair.
I think, though, normally, Matt, it's always a 49-51 ratio goals behinds in most of the competitions with most clubs. It's very rare that a club has an over 60% goal percentage. Those sort of things don't really happen. So I mean, look, I agree with you.
Why is that?
Why? I think it's just the the
the
nature.
high speed.
Yeah,
of the game.
I think it's just the nature of the game. I mean, look, we do when we're looking at big sides, when they kick big scores, like sometimes they're like
29-40.
yeah, or they kick 26-5 or 17-6. They're the rarities because over the season they might have kicked 51 goals, 50, right? And you'll think, I didn't get much return there.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's just the fact that it's human nature. I mean, we talk about win percentages, and that's why the good clubs have got a better than 60-70% win percentage, and that's why they've won the premierships.
Exactly. Ryan, Justin Stanton said the Basin don't really like playing at home. It's not suited them. They've only lost one. They only lost one game at home in 2021, and that was to Baronia in a game where, from all reports, the Basin should have won.
Yep.
So that doesn't really add up. So how good are they if they don't lose when they don't like playing here?
Well, I actually came in today thinking that because it is at Batterham's that they've got the edge over Ringwood because of what happened last year on Ringwood's bigger deck, but obviously not. Look, I think they're quite quick. They're very young. When we watched him in Baronia, they were able to move the ball in waves, and they really broke down Baronia's defensive line set up last year. So. Look, I don't think the ground's going to be. I don't think the ground's going to matter too much either way. I think obviously Ringwood are used to the bigger ground.
Often too, Ryan. There's a lot of grounds in Maroondah and not so much in Yarra Ranges that have been upgraded over the years, and they're probably thinking, oh well, we've played on better surfaces than what we've played up here at the Basin. Because I mean. I can understand where Juzzie's coming from because sometimes the ground looks a bit paddockish.
Yep.
It's like playing on a paddock. And the thing is, these sort of grass and conditions really isn't conducive, to playing good football. I take his point. You can have all the best facilities off the field, but if the ground itself's not as good as what's off the field, then it makes it hard.
Well, this ground. So at the moment, looking from goal to goal, it looks like the corridor has been relaid.
Yeah.
But the outfield, the wings are probably not in the greatest condition. But
well, they hadn't had a mow for a couple of weeks.
Well, it's been so hot, bro.
I know.
It's been so hot. Everyone's complaining about the heat, and now it's raining. Everyone's complaining about the rain. Which side, when they woke up this morning and saw that there was a bit of rain about, they probably didn't think there was going to be this much, were happier?
Ringwood.
Yeah, I'd have to say Ringwood. Without farmer forward.
What's your reasoning? Is that your only?
I think for the fact that when you go through their side, I know the Basin are up and coming. I just felt that Ringwood have got some bigger bodies, right? And in these wet conditions, as the game wears on, those bodies don't get any. They don't get any lighter.
A few more experienced heads on Ringwood as well. I don't know if that's going to. I don't think a younger side is going to struggle in that sort of conditions, but I just think the experienced bodies. If it's a close, tight game in the rain in the last quarter, I think you'd back maybe a Ringwood midfield.
Yeah, well, it's going to be very interesting. I'm interested to see if Daniel Collier maybe spends a bit more time up forward. He's just taller than 6 foot. He's got a bit. He looks like Isaac Heaney, and maybe he can play a bit like Isaac Heaney as well. Yeah,
but Daniel likes to run far and wide anyway, Matt.
Well, it's just the footy today. Like I said, I've been here since 10 a.m. and I've been sitting on this centre wing position.
Yep.
And the football sounds like it hurts. That's how wet it is. So
okay.
I wouldn't be looking for booming kicks, and I don't think we're going to see much pinpoint accuracy across the thing. But we've got a few minutes left. So I know we haven't spoken at all really about the other games today, but let's just get a little bit of your tips. And Croydon hosts Lilydale at the Croydon Oval. Croydon are missing a few players, but I think it's going to be a harmonious symphony here, Croydon.
Yep.
Yeah, but good to see Luke McCormick back coaching.
And Lilydale, it will be. It will be interesting to see how he goes with that too. Montrose and East Ringwood.
I went East Ringwood.
Yeah?
Yeah, I have to go with East Ringwood, although I do think Montrose are the big improvers this season.
Gary Ayres, he knows football, according to Davis Harrigan. He knows football.
Yes, he does.
Great insights from Davis. Our great man Davis is out there taking snaps for us today. Warrendot and Waverley Blues, great game out there. We'll get to that later. Mitcham and Mooroolbark, surely. Aaron Mullett kicked 8 last time they played.
That was the difference in the end. They only won by a short margin.
They only won by an Aaron Mullett, 8 goals.
So
Yep.
from all reports, Mooroolbark have recruited pretty well in the off-season.
I think they'll be pretty good. Riley Monkhurst is out there as well. Heath Hocking's playing today.
Yeah,
they've got the wood on them too.
Yeah, we'll go with Mooroolbark.
This one's a big one. Upper Gully and Bayswater. There's a Brasher out there on the half-back flank for Upper Gully.
Yeah, and there's a white playing in the midfield that's a second cousin or something to the Brashers.
There we go. It's pretty good. Upper Gully, the Brasher clan, they're taking on Bayswater at Kings Park. And if there was a ground that didn't want the rain, it was Kings Park. Big game for Upper Gully. Can they get the 4 points?
No.
Okay, thanks, Brash.
Yes. I'll stick with Bayswater too, but although in the conditions they might be a close one.
It could be a slog.
Well,
if it was this day in June, there would be one place you wouldn't want to play footy.
At one stage I was thinking that my nephew might actually play on Ben White in the midfield. It'd be an interesting clash. I tell you, that wouldn't be talking for weeks
Family
afterwards.
Christmas would be a bit awkward later in the year, wouldn't it,
It
Brad?
would.
Beaconsfield and Montana South, first time Mick Fogarty back in the league. Are they getting a win?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll say they will at home.
Eastfield and Knox, that starts at 4:30, so the around-the-ground scores probably won't come in on this call, but I think the Rams will win that.
No, I'm going Knox.
No, I'm going with you. I'm going with the Rams.
Mulgrave and Boronia are at Wellington Reserve.
No, escape to the country.
No, it's not there. They're not playing there this year. They're playing because they're not playing till halfway through because the room's getting redone. The temporary facilities weren't up to scratch.
Around a bit.
They're at Wellington Reserve.
So who's playing Mulgrave? Playing who?
Boronia.
Oh, I'm going Boronia.
Oakley District and Templestowe. Templestowe. South Belgrave Heathmont. That's an interesting one up the mountain. Actually, up the mountain today, you wouldn't be able to see goalpost to goalpost.
Yeah, I reckon there'd be a lot of fog and mist up there.
Yeah, you reckon?
Yeah, and I don't think Heathmont will be able to get through
it'll
it.
be it's a long way from H.E. Parker, isn't it? Up to South Belgrave,
Yeah,
Ryan?
South Belgrave for me.
And obviously we're here, the Basin and Ringwood. We'll get to that one just before we go to the break. Gully and Fair Park, 6:20 start out at Wally Chew. Fair Park, I don't think they've got a chance.
No, Fernchew for me.
Scoresby and Glen Waverley. This time last year they played each other and it was a tie.
I'm going Scoresby because I think Hare could be the difference.
I'll go Glen Waverley.
I'll join you on that one, Ryan. Whitehorse and Donvale. Interesting one. Whitehorse picked up a lot of players, but Donvale are pretty good.
Go on, Donvale.
Yeah, Donvale.
Donvale as well, even though you got some stick for having them miss finals.
I've copped it from
Ethan Duncan.
Duncan's, yeah, not happy.
Warrandyte and Waverley Blues, big one. Could be a grand final preview, according to Ryan. I'm tipping the Waverley Blues.
Yeah, I think I went Waverley Blues.
I'm going to stick with Warrandyte.
Forest Hill and Churnside.
Forest Hill.
Forest Hill.
Surrey Park and Kilsyth.
Sorry.
Yeah, Surrey Park.
I went on Eastern FM this morning. Rod Paisley. Guess who he tipped?
Kilsyth.
He reckons he picked up a few. They'll be right. Sylvan and Croydon North.
Sylvan.
Sylvan as well, but I think Croydon North will be one of the big improvers this year. And the Basin and Ringwood. After all that we've discussed, where are you leaning?
I tip Ringwood.
Tip Ringwood, just backing in the old foe?
Yeah, I just think that I'm just going on body strength.
Yeah, I tip the Basin by 2 or 3 goals, but could be less than a goal, I reckon.
So the Basin were, of course, a talking point for me last year because I had them finishing bottom or second last, and then they ended up finishing second. And I kept not tipping them because I didn't want to look like I was jumping ship. So now I'm going to change my tune this year. I think the Basin will win too. I think the conditions will make it closer, but both sides are pretty similar builds. The Basin might actually have a bit of extra height, which is a change from last year. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Hopefully the rain clears up because we don't want it to be a low-scoring game. I think it'll be very physical.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm going the Basin as well. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Brash, Ryan, in a sentence or less, how would you? Is the excitement building?
Yeah, it is. I mean, look, great. The crowd's built from when we got here. Players have just finished the game. I think we're in for a ripper afternoon.
I think we've got one more quarter of the reserves left. Ryan, what's the number one thing you're expecting today? You're out on the boundary with Steve White.
Yeah, I just think it'll be a tough, hard game of footy. I think the game's going to be one in the middle. Depending who can get the ball up forward.
To be fair, Batterham is only
It is a small ground, but if they can take your opportunities once you get them, that might be the key.
I'm excited for the Basin kicking to the right of screen in the last quarter. Someone slotting one, bouncing, skidding through, and the Jack Wallace stand just erupting. Absolutely. Wayne, Ryan, thank you very much for joining me on the first ever pre-game for 2022. Matthew Foddy here at Batterham Reserve. On the other side of this, Ben Warren Smith, Brett Beston will be joining you as we call all the action from Batterham as the Basin take on Ringwood.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your
As
footy.
Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. Let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob Armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, "Why yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy." And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair.
Yeah, that's great.
Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Yes, it's back. Footy's back, and we are rapt to be out here at Batterham Reserve today for the big clash between the Basin and the Ringwood Football Club. And it's my name is Ben Warren Smith, and joining me on the second half, or the second part of pre-match, is Brett Beston, and he'll be riding shotgun today, calling this big clash. And I tell you what, it's been a long time coming, but we're back at the footy, Besto.
It certainly has been a long time coming. It feels like forever, but there's a tremendous excitement, despite the fact that the weather's not so good today. It just had that, when we got up this morning, we were just a bit, we just couldn't get out here fast enough. I was out here nice and early today.
What time did you get here today?
I don't know, before 12, I think.
Oh, that's what happens when you've got relatives staying with you, isn't it?
Well, there is that, but that's a completely story for another day. But yeah, it's just great to be back. I mean, to get up this morning and think there's going to be, apart from Premier, of course, which doesn't start until next week, full round of games, and you can just feel the excitement. It's just great.
Well, Mother Nature's a bit of a cow. We've had the best summer ever, and the weather's been perfect. And then game one of the footy, and
first day of footy, and we get
the heavens open, and it looks like it's here to stay as well.
Well, the interesting thing is the forecast is actually not so bad. I looked like most of it was going to hit tonight, so unless it's come through early, but so we might get a break at some point. But hey, we're here, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, exactly right. And a great spot we've got out here at Batterham. And if you're in the area, there is a lot of undercover viewing points across this ground. So if you come down, you'll manage to stay dry, and you'll be able to see a good game of football. Man who never likes to take his headset off, and I like that because he's one of my best mates, and he's Wayne Brasher. It's great to be back calling the football with you, my friend.
Yes, Ben, it is. I'm really happy to be back and calling with all my mates again.
Very good, Brash. Maybe just straighten up your microphone a little bit there, mate, and we need to hear those dulcet tones. But Besto, how you seeing today's game playing out? To be honest, it's been so long between drinks and seeing live football that it's hard to really take like a really big viewing point on it. But I suppose you look at the ins and outs on both sides over the pre-season and last year, and where are you swaying to today?
Look, it's really tough because we don't have a lot to go on, obviously, with the sides not having played for so long. But I suppose you've got to probably lean the weather will be a leveller. But for me, I'm still tipping Ringwood. I think probably, all things being equal, they probably would be the favourites today. A couple of big inclusions for them too. They've got Sam Wadley, of course, from Vermont, and Mitch Heckley from North Ringwood. So they'll make a big difference. But there's space inside. They're a young team, and they could go right. It'll be close, but I'm just tipping Ringwood today by a couple of kicks.
Yeah, fair enough. We named in the tie, but have been ruled out for the Basin is Liam Walter and also Luke Scott as well. So you can cross them off on your footy record if you made one up at home, because we don't do them anymore. But so I think I don't know. I think today's quite an interesting clash. I knew we were going to come down here because Matt Fody has got a love affair with the Basin Football Club these days, so they had to get round one.
He's an honorary member, I think.
He got given a jumper last year as well.
He did get a jumper.
I actually think the Basin are going to get the chocolates today, to be honest. And
look, I don't tip Ringwood with any confidence, but if I had to tip them. But it's going to be one of those games. It's literally a flip of a coin, I think.
I think there's a lot of subplots in the game, and I think also the fact that the ground conditions have actually probably changed the dynamic of the game itself, because we were probably all hoping for a fast, free-flowing game, and now we have to get down and dirty like it's a middle of July winter game.
I don't know why they didn't get the Victor mower out on the ground during the week.
The grass
as well.
does look a touch long, doesn't it?
It does. It really does. Yeah. I'm not too sure why that's the case.
I actually did say, BWS, that the Maroondah Council puts a little bit more time and effort in their grounds than what the Yarra Council does. I think it comes down. That's why Justin Stanton said they don't like playing here. Maybe because it resembles a paddock.
That's a possibility.
Well, at least the plus side, there's no animals out there, so that's good. So, Bresh, just one without notice, you're obviously a Vermont man. Tell us a little bit about Sam Wadley, because I think he's going to be I'm reliably informed he's quite a long kick, although that may not come into play today with the weather. What sort of player is he?
He's a very... he's head down sort of bum up type player, Brett. He'll play around half back, half forward, midfield. He'll slip rotation, but he's as hard as nails. He's got a bit of grunt, but he's also got a little bit of mongrel in him as well, which is what you want in some of the players. He can be a goal kicker. At one stage, he was probably playing as a back pocket.
Oh, wow. Versatile. Yeah.
So he's a very versatile footballer, and he kicks the ball deceptively long. So, put it this way, I think he's going to be a great acquisition for Ringwood this year. A great acquisition.
It's weird seeing a Ringwood side without the name Farmer in there,
it's weird,
it is, isn't it?
Is that going to be quite a big thing? Because Trent obviously led the goal kicking, I think, last year. He had, even though in a truncated season, I think he kicked 28. So where do you see their goals coming from, Ringwood?
Well, I actually think it's going to come down. Well, they already had a good spread last year, Brett, and the year before. Trent Farmer was sort of like the icing on the cake, because their midfield and half forwards have always been renowned for kicking goals. But I think this year it's probably going to be even more prominent now that they don't have that spearhead to go to, and that probably makes them a little bit more unpredictable.
It's not going to happen every week. And what about the goal kicking power for the Bears, Brash? We're in a game that's probably going to be quite scrappy, to be honest. I'm thinking this afternoon. Where are they going to find their goals from?
Yeah, well, they probably don't have a recognised forward as well, but I believe one of the recruits that has come in as a key forward. Guzma, I think it was that Matty said. Guzmas, yeah, I think he's come in as a key forward. They picked. Once again, I think it's going to be the same with them as well. I think I'm almost wondering whether the day of having the key forward is about dead and buried.
I don't know if it's dead and
Don't
buried.
be
but
ridiculous.
It's maybe not quite so. I mean,
maybe not at this level. I mean, I guess it's just the fact that, you know, most of the key forwards are not playing in this comp at the moment.
Yeah, I guess you just got to find other avenues to goal. I mean, you've still got to have a target to get the ball to ground, especially on a day like today. And then if you've got good smalls, well, then they can crumb and hopefully do their business for you.
I think, Brett, the fact that we've only played, 8 to 11 games in 2 years, it's very hard. It's probably hard for us to sit there and try and make assumptions, because we're basing a lot of our form on 2019 and who the big guns were then, because we really haven't had much to talk or look about in the last 2 years. So there could be some players this season, which I'm hoping there is in all grades, where where there will be key forwards that will come to the fore, like your Darcy Fritches and of the like. We got to be honest, we have to have those type of players. We got to have those big forwards that kick the big goals, because that's what pulls people through the gates.
That's right. A couple of new guys too in the Basin side worth mentioning. Jaden G, who's come across from Kilsyth. And the other newbie is he's come across from the West Gippsland, I think. I'm just trying to find him on my page. It's Matthew Rennie. Any idea about their credentials, Brash?
Well, I believe Rennie was I think he's a midfielder, from what Justin Stanton was saying. Come across very well credentialed. I think he was very high in the medal count in the comp that he played in, so he's obviously has some ability. But as Justin has alluded to, the 4 players that they brought in, he'd already had some sort of association with them through his brother Hayden.
Yes, yeah.
And the fact that he knew that Hayden was giving up the coaching at Garfield, and he just thought it was time to pounce on those guys and to see if they were available. And it looks like they'll prove their worth, I reckon, for the Basin this year.
2:09 p.m. for anyone down in the Basin who want to give their teammate a bit of stick for a kick that just missed his foot completely. You'll find that on our Footy Chop pre-match. Look. We don't want to do this game to death because we've got it all afternoon, but I suppose we're about 30 seconds away from kickoff around at a lot of other football grounds this afternoon across the eastern suburbs. And Brash, were there any major standout games that really take your liking today, and that might be big moments for the club and important ones just coming back and playing football?
I think the game of the round in Division 1 sees Montrose, I believe, taking on East Ringwood. The arrival of Gary Ayres to the Montrose Football Club has filled that club with expectation.
They've kicked the first goal too out there, the D's.
They've got some players back. Right, Billy Schilling has come back to the club. Batten Leach has come back to the club. They're senior club players. I think Montrose will definitely improve under Gary Ayres, but there's been a lot of talk about East Ringwood and their recruiting in the off-season to complement what they already had, and talk that they should be finishing in the top 3. So I think that game has prominence. And I think the other game, I think Mitcham and Mooralbark also has some bearing.
Yeah, I saw GMAC up at the Mitcham Hotel a few weeks ago, and what do you reckon he was saying? Oh, well, you're coming down to call our game in round 1. And I was down there with a bit of a brethren from the Mitcham boys, and even Doncaster as well. Dogger Curtis was down there, so it was good. I bought those boys a beer too, so I'll be expecting a thank you at some point in time. I think that will be a good game as well, Brash. I think that's quite interesting. How will Mitcham be able to step up to this level of division football this year? And Mooralbark, look, they were going okay. Will they take the next step as well? Is a big question mark.
They're also with them too, BWS. They're talking the talk about their recruits and improving this year as well. And GMAC must have a short memory, mate, because we were out there round 1 last year when they played Wanturna South.
You certainly were.
That's right, we were too. I
think you even got a highlight on that one, Besto.
I think I did.
I think in Division 1, but I think Division 2, I think South Belgrave and Heathmont
Good game.
is a game that will demand some respect this afternoon, because we all feel here that both these sides are, on the score of how they've performed in recent years, should be playing at finals. So that game would be of prominence. This game also has prominence as well. So I think Division 2, there's probably 6 sides I think can win it.
Really?
Yeah.
Gosh.
I think that's that open.
Well, I have to agree with you. I mean, if you look at the list, I mean, you've got the Basin, you've got Ringwood, you've got Heathmont, Templestowe are the big improvers that we're told.
Who's your other? Who are the others? Who's your 6?
East Burwood and Baronia.
You've left Oakley out.
Yeah, and East Burwood.
Well, we don't. So it's hard to get a
What a surprise of Vermont supporters left East Burwood out of contention.
we can't make a call on Oakley though, because we don't really know until we see them. I guess we don't really know what they're going to do.
Well, the thing is, East Burwood have lost Middleton. The big.
Yeah, it's a big loss. But
there's a loss. I mean, look, I could be wrong, because it's what
you're never wrong, Brash.
It's what Ryan said before. He goes, East Burwood could be down the bottom 4, and I turned around and said to him, they could also be in the top 4 too. That's the unpredictability, I think, of this grade, I reckon.
Yeah, that's it. You may be right, and I may be crazy, Brash. If we have a look at...
Sounds all Billy Joel to me.
Division 3, there's... I think the White Horse Pioneers Donvale game is going to be a real tight one today, to be honest. I know everyone in pre-match picked the Vales to get up, but I've got a funny feeling this one's going to go right down to the wire.
Where's that being played?
And I tell you what, Fair Park versus Ferntree Gully in the wet tonight should be quite an interesting one as well. I know everyone wrote Fair Park off also, so just getting in one for the underdogs in both of those 2 games.
Well, the thing is though, BWS, you've been to a few of these twilight Ferntree Gully Fair Park games in your day,
yep.
And they've always been sort of they've been interesting encounters, because Ferntree Gully don't necessarily go all well in those games.
Exactly, and they generally always start the favourite, and most of the time Fair Park get the chocolates as well. But that usually is played out at Fair Park as well. So this time down at Wally Chew. And then poor old Coldstream get the bye this week, and it's like, they've waited so long, and then you pull up the short straw.
Oh, I put it this way. Look, it just gives them and Chad Rogers another week to go scouting and to go and have a look at an opponent that they might be seeing in the opening 2 or 3 rounds.
Well done to the Basin for getting the points in the reserves game out here today. That is finished. They're just lining up for both sides to run out onto the park. Pardon me. But it's great to be back at the football, and you'll be able to listen to us through the app all afternoon. And of course, Radio Eastern 98.1. So
good to be back with them.
It's always good to be on the airwaves of the eastern suburbs. There's no doubt about that. We've got a couple of boundary riders who are going to really brave it this afternoon. Steve looks so happy about it as well. But they'll be getting the best spot on the ground to give us all those important updates from both sides. Matt Fodia will be working feverishly as well today as our stats and around the grounds man. So Matt, you must be a little bit edgy as well, like a player, like an EFL house. Like you guys have been waiting for something like this, isn't it? It's just been got to take the feet off the table and put out the cigar, and then now it's back to working again.
Well, thank you for paying me. Thank you for painting me as Fidel Castro. That's actually quite...
I'm just getting mental pictures of Matt kicking back and the big, what do they call those big cigars?
Cigarillos are probably more in my tax bracket, but... And if the EFNL are listening, I would like to upgrade the cigars, but that's probably a question for later on in the year. No, I think excitement would be the word from my point of view. Maybe the operations team were a bit on edge, feverish yesterday, but I was pretty calm and chill. Brash came in for a chat, as per usual. We did the weekend forecast, the new preview podcast with Josh Ward, Jared Beanland and Spider Lee. And then obviously we'll have something recording tomorrow for Monday release. But yeah, just excitement, I'd suggest. Big game players, Ben, they thrive for these occasions. Mm-hmm. And I would put myself in that category. Myself and Fidel Castro, just kicking back a couple of cigars pre-game. No, it should be exciting out here. And of course, there was a rumour around, obviously we spoke about the umpires on pre-game and how much we love them and how much we want more umpires to get involved. But there was rumours that Morris he knew what the media game was. He put his hand up. So watch for Morris. To just
We've got him?
Oh, we've got him. Look at him. Flamboyant as ever. Look at him. Only warming up in front of the cameras, refusing to warm up in any other spot. A couple of high knees here from Morris. Bum flicks. He loves the spotlight. So hopefully it's a well umpired game, which I'm sure it will be. And hopefully it's a good one.
Look, as we pointed out earlier, gents, look, it's been highlighted that the umpire fraternity is down on numbers right across the board this year. So to all the people out there that are watching all the games this afternoon, they need the support just like you. And if we don't have those games, then we're not sitting here on a Saturday afternoon talking EFNL footy.
Just a hint, boys, that there's just a little bit of a clearance. I reckon I can see a very, very small patch of blue sky up there.
Really?
No, not really, but anyway. I thought it was blue, but it's actually probably more grey. Grey-blue.
Grey-blue,
I think your eyes are going, Bester. Which is not a good sign for our line of hobby.
No.
Indigo.
Grey-blue. What colour is that in the 72 Derwents?
Pardon?
Remember the old pack of the 72 Derwents?
Believe it or not, BWS, I have a packet of 72 Derwents.
Oh, the normal
I thought you were going to say I've got
artist.
a pack of Peter Jacksons or something like that.
And they're untouched, mate, so they're worth money.
Being a non-smoker, I don't have the foggiest idea what you're talking about, but that's all right.
Mate,
Derwents are pencils.
Yeah, colouring pencils.
Yes, colouring pencils.
Elite colouring pencils.
I do go with BWS mentioning a pack of something. I can see where your mind went.
I thought he was actually referring.
I've got the tennis.
Derwents are the colour. They're the fine pencils.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So Fidel and I were using during the off season when we were doing our drawings.
It's about time you spoil your grandchildren, Besto.
They're the pencil for artists.
Oh, okay. Jolly good.
Both sides out onto the park here, so we're not too far away.
Well, we should be starting in 38 seconds. So
Really?
Well, the Basin took their time coming out. They've only just stopped their run onto the ground, so it'll be short and sharp. But then again, they might have done most of their warm up inside the rooms, which might have been another tack. So we've got the Basin winning the toss, and I saw a point to the left and a point to the right, so I'm not too sure which way they're going. But if we're calling it, what end of the ground would we be calling?
The left.
Yeah.
What
road is that?
That's Miller Avenue, isn't it?
Yeah, Miller Avenue.
The entrance into the ground, I guess. Yeah.
Miller.
The tennis courts end. You got the tennis courts end, and you got the
clubhouse,
Jack
yes.
Wallace stand end.
Yeah. Well, the Basin will kick to the clubhouse end if in this first quarter if they went with the first point. Now and then he went
which
back.
point did they go with?
They went with the clubhouse, but then the second, then there was another little point to the other end. So I really don't know which way.
All will be revealed very soon.
Well, I'm trying to just kill time whilst they go to positions, but that's not working very well either.
What about Justin Stanton with the backpack? He's on his way to school. Meet you at the skate park later, boys.
And he'd sit in the Nigel as well. You know that single seat up the front?
Yeah, you reckon? No. He's backseat bandit.
I reckon he's got his little lunch packed in the back as well. You know, probably an apple. You know, Mum's made him an apple.
To be fair, the Canteen's a very small shop at the base, and that'll be their next upgrade. They've had plenty of them. That'll be the next one.
Let's cross down boundary side for the first time today and welcoming to the broadcast Ryan Long. He's standing alongside Mr. Stephen White as well. Boys, tough conditions down there today, but let us know how it's heading out under feet.
Yeah, ground's very wet. It's going to be tough. It's going to be in that middle, ground in the middle. Just being able to get it forward and being able to lock it inside 50. It's going to be hard to transition back the other way. Other than that, it's not too bad with the rain at the moment. It's just light, but as we saw from before, it picks up quickly. So hopefully it's not too bad.
Great stuff, Ryan. Back for another season. He's cool, calm and collective now. He's all over it, isn't he? And Steve White, it's great to have you back on board, friend.
Yeah, I forgot when you come out to Batterham, you've got to bring the ice picks and the mountain climbing gear to come down here just below the peak of the ground. But welcome back to season 2022. Are we at 2022 now?
Yeah.
So the last 2 years, I can't keep count, but it should be a good one.
Well, it's been a long time between drinks, hasn't it, Brett Beston? And it will be the Basin kicking towards the club road. The club room ends in this first term. Ringwood kicking towards the tennis court. The umpire holds the ball aloft. It's the first bounce. Here's Brett Beston.
So, footy finally back. It's been a long wait, but we're back in now as the ball goes up in the air. Knocked out there by Power, it was for the Basin. It's going to be a tight tussle in the middle. Nicely picked up there. Try to get the kick away. I think it was Collier. Now it's into the tough stuff. Goes out wide now, and the Ringwood will get it forward for the first time. Forward of centre. Goes past Whack. Now it's in there again. It's nicely handled there by Heckley, one of the new men on the Ringwood side. Gets it forward. Has that been taken? No, it's been dropped to the ground. It was Stagg who very nearly took a good mark. Now the ball comes out, bobbling around again, and picked up there by Collier, but the umpire has blown the whistle, and it looks like we've got a free kick. So
Steve Brown holding the ball, that was paid very quick.
Yeah, it was very quick. Yeah, it was very quick indeed. So first scoring opportunity of the day, Steve Brown. You want to get most of your goals in the early stages before the ball gets too wet. Here he comes. The kick is on the way. It is just away.
No, he's got it.
No, he's got it. Sorry. He's gone straight through the middle. I'm looking in the wrong place. So the first goal of the day, and it's a great start for Ringwood. They get the opener through Steve Brown, and they lead with one straight kick on the Bendigo Back scoreboard. We've had just over a minute.
Yeah, look, a positive start there for Ringwood, but they had to, like anything, the way this game is going to turn out, it's going to be a real scramble. It's just going to be get the ball, put the ball on the foot, and just hope for a Hail Mary.
It's a really nice kick for goal then as well. Got a fair bit of purchase on it. And
well, you've got to make the most of it while the ball's dry.
Very true.
And not waterlogged, which I suspect it may occur by about halfway through this term.
No, just waiting for the ball to come back into the middle of the ground. A minute has ticked over on this game today, and we'll see if the Basin can surge forward. And it is the Redbacks with the first score on the board, being a goal. So the umpire throws it up now. Power will go up against Latchford. It came down straight into the arms there of Wadley, who got dispossessed. Quickly picked up there by Gomez. He got dispossessed of the football. They're working it forward nicely here. Heckley was in there. Little handball out the back there from Thomas. Numbers at the back here for the Bears as a thumping kick goes in towards the middle of the ground. The pack will ensure going up and almost taking the mark that time. There was Jones. Little kick forward though by the Basin up towards the half forward line. It was nicely trapped there that time by Edwards. Handball over the top. It was stolen by Cairns, who got pinged, and pinged he did. They were consistent there now with the holding the ball and screaming for it. There's a lot of plays inside this forward 50, but it'll be Gomez on the right boot, kicks it right towards the hot spot. It was a good kick too, 20 metres out from goal at the back. It looks like the Redbacks will have the numbers. Little handball over the top there. Cairns just kept it alive, and giving a bonus point there was Tim Jones, and threw for a rush behind, and they are one behind. The Bears are trailing by 5 points. Ringwood, 1 straight 6.
So Ringwood to bring the ball back into play. Good start to this game as the ball goes out towards about the half-back line. Up they fly. Mark almost taken there by Wadley, but one of the new players, of course, on the Ringwood side today. Ball goes through hands. Now it's back into the middle of the ground. Got a good tackle coming in there. Is that going to be ball? What does the umpire pay? Yep, absolutely. And it was that man Wadley who was in the action again, but he was just a bit slow to get rid of it that time. Didn't see the tackle, maybe blindsided. And the Basin with a free kick on their half-back line. Little handball over the top, nicely done. Edwards, there's 2 Edwards playing today. That's Thomas. Brother O'Connor Connor's also playing today. Another free kick for the Basin.
Slopping the whistle early, Morris.
Yes, indeed. There's a little kick down the line, trying to find a target, but it's spoiled nicely in the hands there of Parker. Parker slams it forward. Can they get on the end of this? It's probably going to go out across the boundary line, and it does, as it was Makotta who was chasing that one, but he couldn't quite get there, and the ball out of bounds.
You can already see, Brash, that Justin was talking about how the Basin don't really like playing in their ground. You can see when they got that free kick, they wanted to spread and then realised you can't spread. It's not big enough.
No.
So we're about 30 metres out, taking a long time to come back into play here. Pye throws the ball in now. There's a big man there, Power, got it down, and I think there might be a push here on Ringwood. No.
Holding the man.
Holding the man. So
4th free kick for the Basin already.
Fody are doing stats today. Short passes on. Jaden Gomez, who's had a fair bit of the football early days. New player at the club. Kick goes very close to the boundary line. In fact, it goes over, so out of bounds on the full. Got a great viewing point from inside the box of people's shoulders as it kick goes inside forward 50. It'll be the switch across now. Dangerous one, though. The kick had to be perfect, and that's what it was. So Michael Thompson takes it in the right back pocket for the Basin, and now they're going to use the far side of the ground for the first time today. Getting a little fist on it that time. Was knocked over by Cripps, and the umpire said it'll be Ringwood to bring the ball back in. A thumping kick right towards the top of the goal square, tapped over the back, and he was going to give a little shot through Jordan Thomas, but it was rushed anyway, and through it goes for a minor score. The scoreboard as we see it, 5 minutes into this first term on EFNL game day, and it's a 1-goal difference, and Ringwood have the lead.
So it feels like there's a bit of wind blowing to that end of the ground. I'm sure our boundary riders will be able to fill us in a little bit better on that one as the mark is taken. And the Basin will work it out. Long kick forward. Bit of a wobbly one, but it's nice. The tail is brilliantly taken in the middle of the ground. It was Kennedy. Great mark in these conditions. He gets away from his man. Gets a little handball off. That's Goomis. He's been prominent early. Gets a handball backwards. Backwards to go forwards as the ball goes up there now. A little chip out wide from the boot of Thompson. This is good from the Basin, just knocking it around.
Goomis again.
Goomis again. He's been terrific in this early stage. He goes down the line and a mark not quite taken over there. That's Collier for the Ringwood side as they get it forward again, the Basin. And that should be dropped again there by Cairns it was. Ball on the ground in dispute. Going in there trying to pick it up was Kruger. And the umpire says play on for the moment as the ball is scrubbed forward. That's Collier. Collier gets a handball out wide. Nicely done. The kick forward from Brown. And it's going to go out of bounds over there on the far side.
Yeah, pretty scrappy game early. Very scrappy, but, you know, at times it looks like it's going to open up.
Short little chip is on. It was a pretty ugly one too. Blythe was in the front position, heading in with a strong tackle was Goomis. And we'll have a ball up. Decent enough crowd in. If you're in the area, get down here. Don't be afraid of the rain. Never hurt anybody. As it goes over the boundary line and out of bounds.
Except for the straw man and the Wizard of Oz. Didn't do him much good.
The water?
Yeah.
Was it water? Didn't he get set on fire? The water was on the witch. Come on.
Oh, come on. Okay, sorry.
It goes out the back now. In towards the middle, and that man again, Goomis. He's got down low and he's earned himself the free kick. Let's go to Steve White, boundary side.
Yeah, at least he wasn't a gremlin, mate.
I think it was Gizmo or Cosmo or something like that. The handball over the top as Brown gets trapped nicely in a tackle, and we'll have a ball up very close to us here in the broadcast side of Batterham's. 7.5 gone in this first term on EFNL game day. It's a 1 straight goal kick lead to the Redbacks as the kick goes off the ground, scrambling up towards the half-forward line. In the back position there was Stagg, when he went for a second effort. Murphy was in there too. Umpire said, give it back to me, as Brown picks himself up, and the umpire picks the ball up.
Jet Latchford's on debut, Brash, and Rowe said he was sort of an under 19 coming through, and they didn't really think he was going to play senior footy, but his practice match form was good, so they've given him a go, and so far he's been pretty impressive.
Yeah, he hasn't done much wrong, young Latchford.
So Mitch Heckley giving away a free kick. It's not a great start to his Ringwood career. Of course, one of the new players in the Ringwood side, and the Basin will bring it out. They're shipping it across. Well, that's a dangerous kick, but it does find its target in the end. Although it was touched, I think, because the umpire says play on.
I will say this: the umpires have been very consistent so far on this, on that rule. They've paid the free kicks that have been there.
As Stagg gets it forward on the ground, picked up. Well, trying to pick it up there was Kellen and couldn't do so. And the Basin will bring it out again from halfback. They slam it out towards that far wing. Where's it gone? Bouncing towards the boundary line. It's in contest over there, and it's probably going to get beautifully kicked in there. Little kick down the line, but no, it's out. It's out of bounds on the full. Across on the far side. Plenty of umbrellas out here at the Batterham Reserve today. As we wait for the umpire to... In fact, it's a free kick, isn't it? So we're just waiting for play to restart for the Basin. They take a little short one down the line. Nicely marked over there as they try to just work it forward. Just trying to work out what the next option is going to be now. The long kick forward. That's going to happen a few times today, no doubt. Over there trying to pick it up was Rennie. And the ball close to the boundary line. In contest over there, diving forward was Goomis. He's been in everything in this first quarter. And it's going to be a free kick, I believe.
Yeah, free kick back to Rennie for a bit of extra push or fall on after that last possession. So it'll be the Bears to go forward. Kick by Rennie goes inside forward 50 now. Right in the front spot there was Jones, who copped one in the back for his troubles. It was a good effort there. He almost took the mark. The umpire's going to give a 25-metre penalty, Morris, for a bit of lip as well. So well done there by Jones. Eyes for the football. It was a deep kick inside 50, and he's going to switch the play here, which could work out okay. McDonald. And I think we're going back again.
I think there might have been another 25.
No, there wasn't. I think just Morris hadn't finished explaining why it was a 25. So it'll come back now, and it'll be Jones. Take two. Spearing kick. It was like a bullet there. It was magnificent. Heckley took the mark as well, and then he wasted no time, banked it on his boot inside forward 50. It bounces a wrong and out to the boundary and over the boundary line. She goes in front of Tom Edwards and co, and we'll have a ball in. Still, that one goal has only been kicked, which happened in the first minute of play. We've now gone 10 minutes in this first term on EFNL Game Day. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast on the app and, of course, on 98.1 Radio Eastern, as they're going to try and work themselves forward here.
Throw.
And the umpire said that is a throw. You won't get away with anything. It's a small ground. They're in and around everything, the umpires today. So it'll be Mitch Brown to create something across the half-back line for the Bears, and he takes off and then he gets a kick out, and it was a nice one too. Thompson, well, probably dropped what he should have taken. Right on his hammer there was Lang, the Ringwood veteran. Little kick off the ground, or a fresh air shot by Heckley. They're still working it forward. This is going okay, Stagg, but the handball away. The kick by Brown. The kick by Brown goes all the way and hits the post. I tell you what, that gave it a fair old roost there, and that was going to be the early contender for the Tobin Brothers funeral goal of the day, but unfortunately not, as we go around the grounds with Matt Fodia. Sorry, a stat?
No, sorry, it is around the ground. It's a reserves around the grounds. Heathmont and South Bragrave have drawn up the mountain there. So yeah, exciting start to the year for those two development squads, they like to call them now. But just quickly as a special thing, Brash, I think both sides are still struggling to adjust to the fact that it's pissing rain, despite the fact that it's not stopped raining. Both sides are playing like it's 35 degrees still.
Well, they wouldn't have trained in the rain.
I understand that, but surely for the previous 6 hours of football that's been going on today, someone might have noticed.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah, good comment, Brash.
Brash, as long as you think. That's all that matters.
Shut up.
So the umpire to throw it up. It's a fair point that Matt makes. That there's a lot of
We didn't win.
It's a free kick. And they get hands on it. They can. Beautifully picked up there by Hello, it was. And the ball is cleared out towards the wing. Oh, that might be a free. Boundary umpires trying to throw the ball in, and these.
As the ball very close to that interchange now, swinging around on the right boot was Riley.
Maybe.
Gomez, I should say.
We finally have a score from around the grounds that I'm going to actually confirm. Murubak 117 lead Mitch.